The necessary reversal and fusion. I've been married to my wife for 5.5 years. From a prior relationship, she had a boy who solely called me dad. Together, we also have 2 daughters, ages 2 and 3. We were in the midst of relocating across the nation, where we currently reside without the presence of family, when we got married. She unexpectedly told me 2 weeks ago that she wanted a trial separation, and she was as cold as ice the following day. I've always given her all she asked for and never cheated or lied to her. She claimed that I wasn't affectionate or emotional enough with her. Since I'm off during the week and she's off on the weekends, she wants to rent a studio apartment, which we can split. To avoid upsetting the kids, on my days off I will stay at our regular apartment and she will stay at the studio, and vice versa. She stated that she would like us to be together for at least 6 months so that we may develop as individuals and then focus on getting married. Or perhaps she will return sooner if she notices that I am changed. She refused to consent to not dating anybody else. I vowed to stop putting up with it. Stated that she lost her happiness trying to make me happy and that she wants to get it again. She declines to receive counseling. When I asked if she wanted everything to work out in the end, she replied that it would if she could get over her resentment. She doesn't realize how she feels about me. Her goal is to bring happiness to all. I started the beseeching I'll change routine right away, but I quickly realized that was the incorrect course of action. Before getting married, we actually dated for almost 1.5 years. Should I state that I ignored her and didn't talk to her for a week before dumped her since she had already moved on to someone else? She has experience in emotionally charged long-distance relationships. Until lately, she really didn't have any friends here. About 6 months ago, she started her first permanent work since we moved here. She only recently began spending time with them. They are almost all single mothers who have divorced. I am aware that every weekend and every week they go out and party. She hasn't even returned home in the past 2 weeks, and I have no idea where she has been staying. All she has done is go out to bars and do activities with these girls. Perhaps venting some steam, who knows. I've never had access to her Facebook account, but I checked and saw that several new guys have joined. Her post is secret, so I can't access it, but I can see that they like her pictures and other stuff. One with whom she had a prior employment. She had spent the last 4 days in Las Vegas with her longtime friend, a lesbian, from back home. She might have been having an emotional affair on Facebook with her or someone else, in my opinion. She may have had very poor self-esteem in the first place. She is infatuated with attention and posts selfies all the time. Vegas, here I come, her buddy said on Facebook, and her wife responded with a blushing emoji. Wow, you mean X, here you come. Is there something happening there? Just lost at the moment. It is difficult, but I'm trying not to worry about what she is doing. Must I perform the 180-degree turn? The lease on the studio she wants to rent expires in October. Although she didn't state the split was ended, she did imply that perhaps we might live together at that point. I was thinking that I would be done with it if it didn't change. Any recommendations? Prior to getting married, we weren't actually dating. Completed the long-distance task. Was it because I was a decent father and had good morals that she used me to raise her fatherless son? I have so many questions. Is she cheating? Prior to becoming married, we weren't living together. While I was away getting trained for my new work, we got married. When I asked her whether there was anything else going on, she became very combative. She clarified that it was about her sentiments, saying, "I knew that's what you would think." Stated that I didn't trust her because I was just concerned that she might misbehave with someone else. That's the bit that's challenging for me. I don't care what she's doing. I became really involved with the church, went to counseling, and wanted to work. Though I don't want to be a fool and continue if she is cheating the entire time, I still want to give it a shot. Given that her Facebook is private, etc., she used to come home from work, sit on the couch, and text all day long before she went. After that, she would go take a bath and spend the entire time on her phone. She no longer checks her phone for texts when I'm present. Do girlfriends send a lot of texts? Or is this a man trying to get a rebound? Not that I want to believe she's cheated on me yet. Perhaps on an emotional level. She is definitely conversing with someone. Flirtatious text message type. Maybe she likes to text throughout lunch. I really want to face her and just tell her to reveal the truth. But I'm aware that's not possible. I'm conflicted because my opening out to her is the root of her problem. She no longer wants me to be vulnerable. As a result, I have to employ the coping mechanism I'm attempting to quit. Remarks. See, it is not typical conduct for a mother and wife to suddenly wish to separate. Whether someone is cheating or not doesn't really matter right now. She gave you a bombshell. It appears that she has changed her mind and is no longer disgusted by the idea of being a single mother. In order for her to enjoy her newly found independence, she asks you to look after the children. Are you able to come to an agreement? Is this someone you could gladly spend the rest of your life with? Don't rely on emotion. Instead, use reason. What makes you want to speak with her? Which response are you trying to find? No, I don't have an affair if she says no. Would you feel more at ease? What about the separation she insists upon? Then, would it be acceptable? Act prudently at this point. Opus answers. Another issue is that I work at midnight. She must watch the children while I'm at work. It's unlikely that 3 children would be content to live in a studio apartment 4 days a week. I've been incredibly helpless throughout, allowing her to set all the guidelines. So I spoke with my wife for a long time yesterday. She was adamant that she is single. I informed her that when this occurs, the lady is usually either willful or having an affair. She claims that's why, in order to avoid being more enraged, she called the break and did find someone else. We are still apart, she continues to insist, and she is unmarried. She believes I should trust her, nevertheless. If she claims we're separated, I believe she believes it's not an affair in her mind. She agreed to attend my baptism as a friend when I requested her to. I said, we're not just friends, we're still married as husband and wife. She did let me into her feelings and explained them to me. Stated that this is essentially my last opportunity, and that she still loves me. My task is to get her back and prove to her that the improvements I made were effective. But I'm aware that I can't keep talking to her in circles like this. I've always finished most of my cooking before going to bed. I do the majority of the laundry, dishes, and putting away. I inquired if she had ever observed that. No, she responded, whatever happens, it must be done. I inquired whether she saw any value in my assistance. I think every wife would be appreciative if her husband did the laundry just once. No, it doesn't benefit her, and she doesn't consider it to be a loving gesture. That since I was single, I would have to do it nonetheless. Her language of love is not that. She claimed that she needed confirmation that she looks beautiful and other things. She had low self-esteem, as far as I know. But is it possible that she is just one of those individuals who will never find happiness? She never took my compliments when I did give them to her. No thanks at all, sweetie. She would say, no, I don't look good, and turn to leave. Or an endless stream of inquiries such as why do you like that? And what looks good? She used to be content where we lived, but now she despises it. She always talks about what car she wants next after getting a new one. She publishes the selfies she takes during the day. Could it be that she is simply a resentful person? Her ego needs to be massaged all day by others hitting the like button on Facebook since her self-esteem is so poor. I simply don't get this entire situation. Even though I'm attempting to change my ways, I still occasionally utter small things. She wants proof that I'm reliable. Is she simply a complete mess who will never know how much I mean to her? She also warned against saying things like don't say I'm a good provider because I provide a roof and food, as doing so would require paying for a place to live. Are you joking with me? I cover every expense, accepted her boy without question and reared him as my own, gave her insurance, and more. I want my union to succeed. She was a good wife once, but I'm not sure whether she will ever be grateful to me or anybody else. I'll give it some time, and if I find evidence that she is acting inappropriately, I'll fire her. I've had enough thinking about her actions. I work at a really nice job. It makes me question whether that was her initial point of attraction. I informed her she knows what I won't put up with, and I was very clear about my dating boundaries. We'll take it from there if she is unable to accept it. I believe that this is a test to see if she can survive without me, other men or not. She doesn't intend to work on my marriage right now. I feel like I'm stuck in this cycle of believing that if I make the right changes, she'll return and everything will be all right. And that might be, but I have a hunch that she will do something that can be undone. If you spend enough time in bars, it will inevitably happen, even if it's not your intention. My intention was to divide our joint account. She lost it and declared, all right, let's get divorced and start paying me child support and alimony. You're correct, I do believe I'm being duped. Most likely, she's attempting to determine how to support herself without my money. She could never be able to afford a place of her own right now. Perhaps that's the reason she's playing me. I could go to a day shift in October. However, I might need it with less money. In my field of expertise, the divorce rate is extremely high. There is a cost to it. Today, the WW began to text me frequently. Why is everyone acting awkwardly around each other? She said that she wasn't asking for me to let go, but rather to be a friend to her and be glad that she is discovering who she is. She wants us to reestablish our friendship as friends and work our way up from there. She apologizes for being so callous, then continued to defend her partying. That she lives up to her obligations. If nothing else, she is conversing with someone. It seems like she needs that ego booster all the time. Perhaps she has it arranged and we are still living together. She simply doesn't return home on my days off, and I usually leave when she does. This makes it awkward. Updates to phone records showed several numbers for constant texting, one from 7:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. every day, or roughly once every 10 minutes. I was shocked and knew better than to confront her, even if she was just a coworker. She tried to shift the responsibility and accuse me of spying, so I informed her I was divorcing her. She broke down in tears and consented to attend marriage counseling, but she avoided talking about the subject at hand. After a week or so, everything calmed down, and I was becoming better at letting her alone. She doesn't seem to have obeyed one of my boundaries, even though I was quite explicit about them at the outset of this. Then, I discovered last week that she had joined many dating sites the day after her initial departure. She claimed that she enjoyed the attention and that she did it because she was angry. I informed her that I would not tolerate it. Although she claims she has never met any of the males in person, she did remove them, and I am aware that she is still in contact with them. The worst part was when I came across a tempting ad seeking to meet girls that resembled her and the girls she traveled to Vegas with. It's her twin if it's not her. I was certain that I had her pegged. Nevertheless, she swears it's not her and she's done after I show her the advertisement. I admit that I let things get to the point where I felt like I had been cheated on after seeing the dating profiles. What more is she doing than that? I shouldn't have shown her the advertisement, but even though I'm very sure it's her, I can't be certain. She then snapped at me, telling me that she was done and that she wanted to file for a formal separation on her own. In essence, resolve it out of court. I believe she will somehow gain from this. Do I simply need to file for divorce? I'm not sure why, but I'm finding it really difficult to let go. I know in my mind that filing should be justified just based on the dating websites. Or should I give her space and observe a few months of legal separation? I simply keep moving ahead one step at a time and back 3 steps. It hurts so much. All day long, I feel like I'm getting punched in the stomach. She gave me a piece of notepaper with a request on it, asking for what she wanted throughout the separation. When I have doubts about certain things, I walked out the door as she leaped down my throat. Since then, we've simply had the usual conversations about kids or other matters as needed. Her half-sister is spending a week in the city. She has been picking up and dropping off my wife at work in her wife's car. All of them have been residing here. She had to watch the kids for me for a bit, so 2 nights ago, she got really upset. Declared that she had wanted to see her sister, who she never gets to see. She left on my day, and this is the first time she has stayed here. She explains that her sister will pick her up from work tonight, and they will be heading to happy hour. After that, they're going to hang out at the home of her friend, who she apparently stays at. However, it's likely that her sister will return home and stay at her friend's place. Since she doesn't get to see her sister, they can simply ride together in the morning to work. After what was meant to be happy hour, her sister simply arrived up to get ready without her wife and take a shower. All of this seems somewhat dodgy, so where is the wife? I've been speaking quietly and operating in stealth mode. I'm venting here because I want to contact her and tell her what the hell, but I won't. Though I'm not going to, I was going to ask her sister where she is. I'm starting to feel a little stronger. She seems to be choosing for me more and more, as I can see. Should I issue a command? I doubt that would have any effect. Shall I just press the button and send it in? I believe I'm still delusional. For the past week or so, I haven't given her any attention. I'm gathering materials for filing the following week. She is unsure. A couple times during our separation, we have bonded. She texted me last night saying she was lonely. She then asks me today whether I want to have it soon after that. That is, as soon as we have the opportunity. Is she merely playing tricks on me to make me stay interested, or what? She claims it's emotionless, yet I believe that women were inherently emotive. I feel so taken advantage of. She texted me earlier tonight saying she wanted a Jeep. I merely chuckled. She honestly indicated that if I had helped her acquire a Jeep, she would have slept with me when she got home. I mistook her for a joke. She claimed to be very serious. Her attempt was to persuade me to do it. Hell no, I replied. She then started acting like a 12-year-old since I'm the reason she can't get what she wants. You people are right. I realize it has taken some time for me to see things clearly, but it still amazes me that my own wife could treat me in such a manner, let alone treat another person in such a manner. I acknowledge that my spouse has passed away. I have no idea who this monster is that took her place. Update: I spoke with and hired a lawyer last week. Make an appointment to file next week. After reading through all of my posts, I'm sorry about how unreliable I've been. Even though it's still difficult, I feel better now that I have a direction and know where this is headed. I believe that I'm finally becoming irate. She hired a babysitter last week for the days she had to watch the kids so she could go out, and she utilized her sister to care the kids so she could go out on the weekend. She has never gone out with our neighbor, but one night she tricked me into thinking she was going out with her. She texts me after she leaves, saying it's a girl from work who shares our neighbor's name. I would ask the neighbor, she knew that. She even requested that I zip up her dress. This was the evening before to the tangible items. She hasn't returned home tonight, even though I'm here with the kids as normal. The boys continue to use Facebook. There is still texting. However, she is currently utilizing Snapchat. She said, what if I just added them to check them out? When I asked her about the boys from Match on her Facebook a few weeks ago, as I just remembered, it was revealed that she had been chatting to these folks on her birthday, had stayed late for poker night at work, and had obviously not returned home that evening. I no longer feel depressed or hopeless when I consider everything she has done. I have a numb feeling and a general lack of concern. Fuck her. Even though I know there are still difficult days ahead, I feel as though I can get through this. All I wish I had done at the beginning was to heed all of the advice. Yes, she has truly lost her mind. It's bad that she pays a nanny to watch the kids on her nights out so she can go out. I would keep them if I didn't work the night shift. By the way, I never received the studio. I will unjustly tell her to get the heck out when she is served. Today is the day I finally filed. My wife is stressing out, and I feel like I'm being selfish for it. claims that I didn't give her enough time or space to decide whether or not she wanted to be with me, which, based on what I could see, was all she was learning to do was go out and drink more. And it appears that I previously requested her for the coworkers' phone numbers. She told me she had never gone anywhere with another man while maintaining eye contact with me. She now claims that they went out and shared a beer. Could this be a common trickling truth? I have some direction, at least. It is preferable to limbo hell, but it's still challenging. I sense the gloomy days resurfacing. She is still attempting to persuade me to get a formal separation. She claimed that filing was a simpler task for me than asking her out. Despite her statement that all she can think of when she sees my face is hatred, I should really leave her alone. She claims I didn't put up enough of a fight for her. She is attempting to get me to get a formal separation so that we may continue dating. She seems to be dreaming, in my opinion. At this point, she's not even a girlfriend material. I guess she still believes that she can manipulate me till I snap. It's kind of great that she is still going missing for days at a time and not contacting or anything. However, she is unquestionably not trying to mend our marriage or foster trust again. She promises to come see me if I decide to file for legal separation. Even though it's clear that she doesn't love me, it's difficult to comprehend. Her statement that we might reconcile someday gives me the impression that she is attempting to offer me false optimism. She can't, however, guarantee it. She might be content to live that way indefinitely if she succeeded in getting me to file for legal separation. I really detest the way she makes me feel guilty when I act and hold her accountable. She has done nothing at all to better herself during the past 2 months. It took me 2 months to get her to go out for a single beer. To be honest, I gave the separation some thinking. I still long for my family, deep down. However, I can only imagine the sheer agony of it. In any case, I'll keep attempting to maintain my composure. She's attempting to force me to compete with her. I believe she once told me that it was my responsibility to win her back. There should be no rivalry for my wife. I, too, am beginning to doubt the mental component. It's as though she had a full breakdown or something. Update: I've just been depressed for the past few days. Even the easiest tasks are difficult for me to do. To keep myself occupied, I'll attempt to do household duties, but at the end of the day, I'll discover I accomplished nothing. I was just pacing back and forth. My 2 months at IC have been incredibly beneficial. When Phil did finally call, he was obviously unaware of the messaging, dating websites, and other things. He recently learned that I stalked her phone and email like crazy and that I never found anything. Still, he was awesome. She claimed I can't give her an ultimatum or tell her when to feel something, even if I did urge her one more time to come home. Although she's been friendly, I just try to ignore her. She continues, saying, I'm not picking up on the cues she's giving me that she cares. Do I need to pay attention to these signs? All she's doing, in my opinion, is being polite. Although I think I've been a hole, I think she deserves it. She has talked about attending MC, but she always takes sure to clarify that she is not making any promises and that, in fact, it might improve our relationship as co-parents. She continues to insist that I give her space to pursue her own interests. I've been working on myself a lot. She seems to be declining while I seem to be bringing her up. Therefore, it might not work out if we reconciled at this point. I don't need concrete evidence to prove she cheated on me physically. Her emotional deception is sufficient in my opinion. I wanted to know if some women really do experience emotional exhaustion and require time apart. Every time I ask her about this Facebook acquaintance, I get the impression that she is completely smitten with him. I know he's still there, but she lies and says he's not. She's had long-distance relationships in the past, but I believe he is in the military and is currently deployed. But he does reside here. Nevertheless, she took a short flight home and perhaps her father could help her come to her senses. It appears from my reflections that she has a past of going out to parties. Due to her involvement in the bar scene and subsequent pregnancy, she was unable to complete her education in college. I'm not sure. She lived with her parents before we started dating, and I assume her father kicked her out for the same reason. I believe she has a pattern like this. I guess I wanted to let out a little vent, because this was only going to be a quick post. It's difficult because all of my friends and family are spread out throughout the nation. I did come across a piece of writing that truly resonated with me. People will always reveal their genuine nature to you in due course. Eliminate those individuals from your life if they only display the colors you dislike. Know your value, have trust, and love yourself. Through the worst times, people that genuinely matter and care will still be there. Not only the luster. Last week, my wife stopped going on my days off and expressed her desire to resolve the situation. Although we enjoyed a pleasant few days together, she later admitted to an EU with a coworker, claiming that nothing physical happened, merely sending texts. She claims to have had one beer with this same person. She appeared willing to respond when I questioned what the hell I could think of from the first night. She appears to get upset if I question her about it the day following. She claims to have given up on everything. She adds that this occurred during our separation. Should I still bring it up a lot, then? I've told her both times that I require complete access to her phone. Everything is recorded online. She claims that I'm being crazy for wanting to look through all of her stuff and won't give over her phone. Believes that I should believe her. In essence, just watch and see whether she makes a mistake. She stated she committed to improving our relationship, but she still won't put on her wedding rings. I don't sense any regret on her part. She doesn't seem to be upset about it. I didn't realize that it wouldn't just be hugs and kisses if she returned. She is often kind to me but not affectionate. I'm not sure if I'm glad she's returned. She refuses to respond to the questions I still have. When I was certain of the D, I felt better. Her heart seems not to be really in this, in my opinion. Considering that the MC states she wants to work on it, should I give it a try? And how should one properly reconcile following an E, in your opinion? We have experienced problems in the past 6 years thereafter. My wife recently grew close to a woman going through a divorce who had an affair with her husband and became pregnant by him. My spouse and I first connected with her at the school, and over time, our relationship grew deeper. She has probably been depending on me a lot because I have been working out of town for the past 2 months. This weekend, my wife was going to Georgia to watch her younger brother graduate. This was scheduled months in advance, and before I knew it, this chick had made plans to go. After spending 2 days with this woman, my wife has changed. 3 nights in a row, they head to the pub and remain there until 3 in the morning. When I inquired about their plans the first night, I was told, oh, nothing. My wife refused to take my calls or reply to my texts. The same thing happened the following night. Refused to tell me where they were going or what they had planned. She replied she didn't have phone signal when I inquired why she was ignoring me. The next day, they head straight to the restaurant or pub after spending an hour at the graduation. I can use Find My iPhone to check where she is. The eatery is closed when I search it up. When I call, nobody picks up. I thus give another call. In response, she texts back, saying she can't hear the phone ringing and is about to leave graduation. Since I know she's not at graduation, I give her another call. In response, she asks me why I'm doing this. She essentially lost her mind over my accusations of her. This comes after she spent 2 days not speaking to me and stayed at the bar till 4 in the morning. Thus, they pretended as though it was none of my business and gave me no information regarding their whereabouts or activities. Promised to give me a call later. Stayed in the bar till 3 in the morning without making a call. I know where she is and that they were at the bars before coming home. I have a suspicion that this girl is giving my wife a lot of crap. She had to take a plane to the graduation and back. It seemed as though my wife had completely turned against me when she and this chick went on a 4-day trip and partied all night. I've been working remotely. Every 2 weeks, I return home. I am aware that the girl's boyfriend spends his weekends at home and doesn't live here. I felt like I was hit in the stomach by someone while I was driving a homemade HRS to visit my wife. I had a vision that my wife was hanging out with my boyfriend and his companion this time. I know their story even though I've only met the guy once. I am aware that this woman is bad for my marriage since, for once, she is unfaithful. After a while, my wife informs me about a joke they made and says his brother was present. To be honest, I thought everything was going smoothly. This weekend, my wife and kids are expected to relocate to the area where I work. Unfortunately, I've already seen my wife as this person this past weekend. She became this person who wanted to be separated from me years ago, calling me the worst person alive and saying she couldn't stand my face. It came out that she had some new single and divorced pals and was having an affair at work. That my wife had suddenly turned against me in a single day astounded me. On Sunday, I'll see her. What is about to drop worries me. It seems like there was some sort of scheme in place to paint me as the villain. She also reasoned that she would party it up if she were going to break up with me. Am I analyzing this too much? She may have simply wanted a release during her break from the kids, but it is really out of character for her to ignore me and brush me off. I apologize for the digression. Tomorrow, we'll see if she even speaks with me. Since then, everything has just gone so smoothly that I believe I kind of dozed off and stopped noticing the symptoms. She has probably been hiding her actual self while sweeping the floors, but meeting this friend has allowed her to come out of hiding. When I finally got her to respond, she gaslighted me by acting as though I was being domineering and possessive, which made me back off. And she didn't get back to me tonight. Given that she won't respond, I texted her. We'll see what happens the next day. It's really bad, man. I'm certain she'll deceive me. She claimed she had no phone signal the first night. I know she's lying since I followed her phone all night. She told me she was leaving graduation when she called me out and replied today. In reality, she was in a Marina restaurant's parking lot. Claimed to be heading out of graduation to find a place to eat. The eatery was closed when I checked it up, unless there is another eatery that is not displayed on maps. She spent an hour or an hour and a half in the parking lot, and went to the pub after that. Very likely, something took place there. She's still not back in town. I envision a bar in this space. There's just not that many places to hide it. I'll be out of town as well. The writing's on the wall, I suppose. Her falsehoods are so flimsy. The stupid thing is that I paid for her to go this trip. In my opinion, you are where you are because, regretfully, your wife sees you precisely like she does, as a weak person who she does not respect, because she knows that if she puts her hands on you, you will accept it, just as you have been accepting it. You should have thrown her out of your life in 2015, but you did nothing. Based on your comments, it seems that you won't do anything this time around besides complain about it. Dude, learn to appreciate yourself. Any respectable man who calls himself a man would have filed for divorce by now based on what she has been doing. You, on the other hand, have accomplished nothing more than to bark at a dog that is toothless. For the love of God, man up and already kick her out. Do you concur? Opus, in my comment, it would just keep going till the very end. However, he will leave one less cheating woman available in the market.